draw. Mimi has sent me to 3. Start of my turn. We'll trash this card and then trash the security.
Okay.
And then we have 2 Shivamon, so 2 Shivamons unsuspend. And then
Trash to security.
trash 2 security.
That's game then.
Yeah. Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Tate Furry, and today I've got a deck profile video for you. Generally, I'm not one who likes to do deck profile videos because once you've seen one deck, you've pretty much seen them all, especially when newer formats come out. But this one's different because we're in the middle of BT9, BT10, and we just got a week's delay. It's nothing too bad. 1 week's not terrible. But I know the drive to do things for BT9 is kind of dwindling for some people. I know some people are looking for new things to play, or maybe you haven't found something new. Maybe this helps you. But we have what I've been calling Merciful Shivamon, and it's super fun, has a competitive edge to it, and it's just a different deck to play from now until BT10 comes out. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so starting out with the deck, we're going to go with our eggs. And in non-OTK green decks, I think it's mandatory that you have to play 5 because of the ability to push out and swarm the board, have more rookies out. So we are going to run 5. We're starting out with 4 Gummymon. So Gummymon, when an opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, you draw 1. It's a really good draw engine, helps you, especially in this type of deck where we are going to be suspending the opponent's Digimon. Helps a lot. And then a Argomon, when this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your unsuspend phase, gain a memory. We're also going to be suspended ourselves with some lines of protection, so we probably are going to be able to pop this one pretty much every time it's on board. This deck, and especially the eggs, are nowhere near solved. It might feel better with more Argomons, less Gummymons, but either way, these 2 eggs in particular are going to be the best 2 to run in this style of deck. And moving on, we're going to go into our rookies. Starting off, we got 2 of the Memory Blocker Terriermons. So, only running 2 because the idea of the deck with it being Shivamon is we need our board suspended. So if this is on board later on in the game, later turns, it's really not going to be surviving. So only having 2 is fine, but it does slow down the opponent. Only going to be able to play a few things around it, but we're going to be stopping memory. So really solid card, only 2 of them. The other cards, though, we are going to run 4 of, which is going to be the EX2 Terriermon. When you play a Green Tamer, gain 1 memory. Sometimes you might have 2 of these out, so it'll make your Tamers essentially 2 cheaper. But the inheritable, when an opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, this Digimon gets 2k. So really helpful as well. We are going to be suspending the opponent's Digimon. There may be times where that doesn't proc if the enemy starts playing around us, or if there's nothing to suspend, which brings us to the next rookie that essentially does the same, and that's going to be the structure deck Palmon. Just if you attack an opponent's Digimon, this Digimon gets plus 2k for the turn. So if they're already suspended, this is the rookie you want. You swing into them, you get that extra 2k. If they're unsuspended, you do something that can suspend them, you gain the 2k from the Terriermon. So essentially, our entire board can be plus 2k higher. And to round out our rookies, we are doing 2 of the BT9 Pomumon. Another Floodgate, another really interesting card. All turns, players can't play Digimon by effects. So this is really good into the new surge of Ilfanimon loop, where if you can kill their Ilfani and you have this on board, they're not going to be able to play out any of the Gatomons, Black Gatomons, or any of the rookies out either. It will stop effects like Flame Hell Scythe as well, because that effect has to fully resolve before this is deleted. So they can target this with Flame Hell Scythe, but they're not going to be able to bring a body back. So Powemon's really solid to round out our rookies. And that's just going to be 12 rookies. All will have a purpose as well, on top of just being pretty solid starters. But going into the champions, we'll see how some of them make a little bit more sense as well. Originally, I hated this card, and I didn't want to play it at all. But we are going to do 4 Kogomons. This has a Retaliation Inheritable, which will protect your stack. And the more I started playing this deck and theory crafting it, testing it, you really do want to have multiple lines up on board. And if you have one that's not fully ready or has its own kind of protection, Kogomon helps it a lot to survive, because now if the opponent's going to swing into it, they're going to risk losing their own guy. So 4 of that feels really good. It's only a 2 Evo. 5 cost a hard play, which has had to happen a couple of times, but could be a lot worse. Next up, we have 2 Exermons. When Digivolving, you can suspend one of your Digimon to suspend the opponent's Digimon. It does not have to be this Digimon either. So if we have a rookie on board, we can suspend one of their guys. With our boost, we can get an extra 2k and then get a draw. We're able to swing into it. Inheritable, the Digimon gets plus 1k for all your other suspended Digimon. So it goes really well with the Shivamon line. Also, just being able to Digivolve this, suspend, it's keeping your board suspended, which again will make more sense when we get 2 Shivamon, but that helps a lot. Next up, we have 4 Rapidmon. Now, it's a 4 cost over Pomamon or Palmon. Pomamon's going to be one that we're going to try to stay away from Digivolving and raising, whereas Palmon, sometimes you'll have to do it, you have to go 4 cost. But with our other cards, our Terriermon, it is just a 3 cost instead. Rapidmon, for every Tamer that we have, we're going to suspend an opponent's Digimon, which again will trigger Terriermon or Gummymon triggers, and give up to 3 other suspended Digimon minus 5k. So we can look at ourselves at being 8k with Terriermon or Palmon. Whatever we suspend is going to get minus 5k. So this can trade with 13k bodies, which is great. Rapidmon's an amazing card. Also has Armor Purge, so this can be something you can leave out and not have to Digivolve your level 5s over, and it essentially will stay on board if they swing at it because of Armor Purge. And then rounding out champions, we're just going to play 1 Arbomon. Just a hybrid, 2 cost. This is one you definitely want to hold in hand as long as you can. We do play a good number of Tamers, but this one comes up and can be your final lethal swing. And that'll be it for our champions. Right here we have 4, 8, 10, 11. So an 11, 12. Not too bad. We can count the Arbomon as another rookie, essentially. Going on to our level 5s, though. Real simple, even 4-4 split. We're going to go Blossomon. Digisorption minus 3, so by suspending one of your Digimon, when this Digivolves, reduce the cost by 3. So not a lot of the opponent cannot reduce evolution cost floodgates out right now. So this one does have an easier time now, since blue hybrid and yellow hybrid have kind of died down a little bit. No more cute mons or whatever the blue floodgate was. It's Syakomon. And then for Climbons, when Digivolving, if this Digimon is suspended, return one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon's DP to its owner's hand. Really good with the Terriermon and Rapidmon. So if we do have to Digivolve Rapidmon until level 5, Climbon is our preferred one. Terriermon, raise out, go into Rapidmon. We get to suspend the opponent's Digimon for all of our Tamers, give it minus 5k. Again, if we're hitting a 13k body, we're essentially trading with it. But instead, we can swing into security at 8k, or we can swing at another Digimon that's suspended we weren't able to kill. Climbon comes out during the Digivolving window. He's currently 10k, and since our Rapidmon's going to be suspended, we can bounce something that was originally 15k back to the opponent's hand. So that's really nice as well. The Inheritable, when this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your unsuspend phase, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Start of your turn, this can trigger your Gummymon or Agromon eggs. So again, those 2 eggs I feel are the best, especially with a card like Climbon. And just, again, keeping their board suspended. Very much a control deck and giving us targets to freely swing into without risk of dying. Next up, the main card, first card I should say, of the deck. We have 4 Shivamon. Beautiful card, I love it. One of my favorite green cards. Trying to make it work still, even all the way here at BT9. We'll look at BT10 stuff in the future. But for now, this card is really fun, especially with those with the rise in a lot of option heavy decks, such as security control, yellow-red hybrid stuff, Alfani loop, and even the stuff with X antibody, because this does stop X antibody as well. The actual card itself, not the deck archetype, which it does have a good matchup against. But opponent's turn, while all of your own Digimon are suspended, your opponent cannot use option cards. And start of your turn, when this becomes unsuspended during the unsuspend phase, trash the top card of the security. The main idea is we don't want to be swinging into security as soon as we have these guys set up. We want to get them suspended and protected, which the Kogamon retaliation helps a lot. They're not going to be able to use options to get rid of it, so they're going to have to have a body big enough to swing at it while risking losing their own. The second we can get 2 of these up, this game just goes by so much faster and it's so much easier. 12k on its own is really good. With the Palmon, you'll be swinging at 14k guys. With the Extramon, if you have other guys that are suspended, you'll get that extra 1k boost as well. Shivamon's is really solid, and it's the first part of this combo. The second card, which is going to be our level 7s. This is it for our level 6s. We have 2 of the Omnimon Merciful mode. Really beautiful card. I love the alternate art. Only have one of them. I'm not a max rarity kind of guy. If I was, I'd definitely be picking these up just because they're really good looking. But we notice with the Merciful mode, it can digivolve over 4 colors, green being one of them. So we're going to utilize that here. When digivolving, for each Digimon with Mega in its traits, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon and then return 10 cards from their trash to the bottom of their deck in any order. This is really solid against a lot of different decks, especially like purple decks, where they are going to have a lot of options in security that you're going to be trashing. And then, of course, they have different ways to loop, so you want to take those cards out. Really good against Reaper as well if you can get up into it, because you can return their searchers, and if they don't have the amount of searchers they need in their sources and they're trying to get them from the trash, really solid. 15k, he's never going to be on board our next turn to swing, and this is why. So at the start of the turn, trash this card, and then trash the top card of this Digivolution stack. So the Omnimon Merciful mode goes to the trash, and we trash an opponent's security. Now, paired with Shivamon, if we have a suspended Shivamon and Merciful mode on top of that, start of our turn, Merciful mode will go to the trash. It'll trash the security, and then we trigger our unsuspend phase. Shivamon will unsuspend, and then it will trash the security as well. So that's 2 securities being trashed. Now, the reason I say we want to have multiple lines set up, because we can get 3 burns if we have 2 Shivamon stacks with Merciful mode over one of them. Start of our turn, if both of them are alive, which it's very likely they will be because we're going to have retaliation protection and they can't use option cards. Start of our turn, Merciful mode's going to go trash security. Shivamon's going to unsuspend 2 of them, and it's 2 more security trashed. At that point, you should be at lethal or very close to it, where you don't have to swing 1, maybe have your hybrid to swing last one, or be able to bring out something from raising, which is what we'll talk about next. And that's going to be with our Tamers. So we're only playing 2 Mimis. It's a memory tamer, and if you have a level 5 or higher green, you can hatch egg into the empty breeding spot, or raise out a rookie, or raise out something from the breeding spot. So this will help push lethal plays. If we've cleared security with Shivamon, or we took one last swing with Shivamon, and it survives, we need an extra hit, we can just tap these, hatch an egg, tap the second one, raise it out. Or if we already have something in raising, just tap, raise it out. Now, we'll never need more than 2 on board, which is why we only play 2, and so far it's been fine. This next card, though, is really solid. The more you can have on board, the better, and that's going to be Izzy and Mimi. Start of your turn, if your opponent has a suspended Digimon in play, you gain 2 memory. When you attack with a level 5 Digimon, you may suspend this tamer, reveal the top 3, and digivolve into a level 6 green without paying its memory costs. The rest of the cards go to the bottom. With only playing 4 level 6s, we do need a good amount of search to get into them, but we don't want to have so much search early on that we're having to grab them and bottom deck other pieces. So this is great when we have our level 5 established. We want to swing and dig for that level 6, digivolve for free, get them suspended, keep them suspended. It's great. A lot of the people that will try to play around this deck will have things already suspended to where you can't suspend and get value off of them, or they won't have anything in play at all. But if they do, this will trigger, get you some more memory. Another card coming up next will help us ensure that we'll gain that extra memory coming into our next turn. But it's really solid again. Another target for hybrids and just some more memory gain. And again, getting into our Shivamon for free. But that'll be it for our Tamers. Next up, let's go into our option cards. Again, I can't say this deck is completely solved even for myself. But we're starting with 4 Samadhi Santis. It's a 1-cost card, and you may suspend one of your own Digimon to suspend an opponent's Digimon or Tamer. If their Digimon was suspended by this card effect, they cannot unsuspend until the end of the next turn. So absolutely nothing can unsuspend that Digimon or Tamer if it was suspended by this effect. Now, if you target it and they're already suspended, they will be able to unsuspend during that unsuspend phase. Sometimes you might have to just burn this to choke the opponent or to ensure that your guys are suspended. It happens. It's really good. I like having it at 4 of. It does save in security because you get to suspend a Tamer or Digimon if it's revealed in security. Sometimes that can stop the hybrid play, or it can stop the last body on board that's still standing that needs to swing. But really solid option card. I like it. Don't know if I love it at 4 yet, but it's been pretty solid, seeing it as much as I can in security and in hand. Next up, if we do drop Samadhi, this might be a card we can up does basically the same thing for 1 cost more, but it's going to be 1 copy of Flower Cannon. It says main, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. It's really good because it doesn't stun us down. It gives us an extra swing if we need to throw down a blocker, or if we wanted to swing at something. The Samadhi Santi, of course, will keep us suspended as well, which means we can't attack into whatever they have suspended into our next turn. At that point, it can turn into something pretty big that's going to be hard for us to get rid of. So Flower Cannon does take that spot and does it pretty well. And then suspend all of your opponent's Digimon without blocker in security. So a lot of the decks right now that don't run blockers, and if they're trying to go wide, they hit Flower Cannon. It just suspends everything. Did come up at locals, was a lot of fun to see. Did help swing that game a little bit. So Flower Cannon, I like it a lot. Could be the card that goes up in number over Samadhi Santi. And next up, just 2 green memory boost. Gets you reveal the top 4, add a green Digimon. Again, we don't want to be too search heavy with this deck. Like most green decks, it is piece reliant. You do want to see your level 5, 6s. But you don't want to see them so early that you have to pull them and then bottom deck anything like a champion or a rookie. So this is like a later in the game, or if you already have pieces you need, play this out. It's really great. And just 2 extra memory to start off again. Shivamon being a 4 cost, all the green Digimon, level 6 Digimon not being 3 cost. Any extra memory you can get helps, which again, thinking about Argomon, could be a better egg. Finally, though, we do have an HPD, Hidden Potential Discovered. So the next time one of your green Digimon Digivolves this turn, you may suspend one of your Digimon to reduce the cost of the Digivolution by 5. So it's a good way to get our board suspended. We have a level 5 that we need suspended to go into our Shiva. We can drop this if we don't have Samadhi, and then Digivolve into Shiva, and then have turn still to do stuff. Or if we already have our second Shiva established, we need to get one suspended and then get into a Merciful mode. This will turn Merciful mode into a 6 cost to a 1 cost. So good opportunity to choke the opponent if they don't have a Memory Tamer established. Again, just get our side suspended and reduce the cost by 5. It's really nice. Even helps in some instances where you might need the Rapidmon over a Palmon. You can play this to just get a free Rapidmon over Palmon, suspend the board, clear the board, and then still have something to get into your level 5s and 6s. So, and that's it. And so as far as like matchups are concerned for the meta decks currently, Grandis is a race, in all honesty. Being able to get stuff out there. Rapidmon really does help a lot because if they're going to suspend you to swing at you, you do at least have that armor purge, so they're going to miss out on 3 checks if they do choose to swing at Rapidmon. Against Metal Garurumon, X Antibody, Shivamon really does put in a lot of work because if they don't have the pieces they need to get into level 6, they can't add the X Antibody underneath the source, and then they can't do the bounce effect. So that helps a lot. Against Omnimon, or Alphamon X Antibody, that one is all about being able to suspend whoever they have as a blocker retaliation and just not swinging at it because you're not going to be able to pop it with the retaliation effects or the Omnimon effects. So that one, again, is just, Samadhi Santi is probably your best friend in that matchup, keeping them locked down, keeping them stunned. But they're a little bit slower. With this one, you do have some speed with you, so you can get up to your lines faster, trash the security. The security heavy decks, like 3 Muskets, Security Control, Afanimon, Mastamon, it's all about trying to get a Shivamon on board. Now, him surviving is different depending on the matchup. Alfani doesn't mind swinging at you. You will have retaliation, but if you're both at 12 without having the Extramon DP boost, you're going to trade. They're going to bring out Godamon, start everything over. Mastamon, as soon as they get into the Mastamon line, if they can start bringing out Lucamon Chaos modes from security, you're going to have a tough time, which is why having multiple Shivamons on board with retaliation does help. Against the red decks, more or less the same as like with the Alphamon X Antibody, the black decks, keeping their big guys stunned down, being able to swing without having to hit into any blockers. And you really want to avoid hitting into security, but sometimes you have to. Knowing the matchup too can help you decide if it's worth swinging that Shivamon into security. Sometimes they don't play removal spells in the form of options, or their Digimon aren't bigger than 12k to kill you. And D Reaper, D Brigade. D Brigade's a race as well. This one does have a fairly easy matchup if you have your Tamers and your Reprimons ready to go to clear boards. It's just a matter of getting that Terriermon on board, having him stick on board so they can't do their Darkramon plays. And D Reaper, it's just a race again. Try to get your stuff out before they have Reaper set up. Being able to control their board, suspend what comes out. The Climb On Inheritable is going to be your best friend because you're going to be able to suspend whatever they drop on board to pass turn. And that's all for the matchups in all honesty. So that's going to be all today for the deck profile. Again, it's just a fun deck to try to experiment with, mess with, play with until BT10 is here. We do have a week delay. Again, isn't the worst delay we've had by far. But that extra time, maybe you still want to grind some games out. Maybe you're still trying some online locals. Maybe you're doing your own locals and you want to play something fun. Just keep the game fresh. This deck is a lot of fun. It is very fresh. It's going to be fun trying to explain to your opponent whenever you go into a Merciful mode with 2 Shivamons and you're just burning through security. Make sure you know that order of operations as well. Start a turn, just declare that you're going to do the Omnimon effect, draw your cards, do your unsuspend phase, and you should be good to go. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it. If you do play this deck, let me know how it goes for you. What changes do you immediately see that you want to make? And that's it. Y'all have a good one. Thank y'all.